The Buddha said that he didn't follow this caste system. He said that anyone who came to him to be...
The best time to ordain is the 3-month Buddhist Lent season, around August to October.
Life is a journey since the first day of our birth.
The program, they gave great teachings, and the teachings really affect us in life.
This necessitated the creation of a larger building, the Great Dhammakaya Hall.
Sawadika. Welcome to Meditation for All, every Sunday morning, 4 a.m. Thai time, on the DMC channel, a fact-filled program that will help you start your day feeling spiritually centered and uplifted. This week, we will start with Reverend Nicholas Thanisaro with his third series on various Buddhist concepts. The content of the series is more advanced than the foregoing titles of the series. Basic meditation for beginners, and meditation and self-development. If you have any trouble catching up with the content, please feel free to contact him at meditationforall@hotmail.com. Today's topic is the definition of the word in Buddhist context.
You remember back to yesterday. You remember that there are some subjects which Buddhism hasn't really touched on in great detail, and some which it has almost avoided completely, because some of the subjects are either encouraging people to speculate on things which they couldn't solve anyway by their normal conceptual thinking. And other things have not been treated in much detail because they weren't seen as important in encouraging people to do their practice. So some subjects, they go against people's ability to meditate, so it may actually make their meditation worse. Such subjects were often avoided completely by the Buddha when he was giving his teachings. Other subjects weren't really given very much interest because they weren't seen as relevant. Okay? So if we were to give the heading about cosmology in Buddhism, it's not that this subject wasn't treated at all by the Buddha, but it was only mentioned in as far as it was seen as useful for people to learn about. Okay? It's not like in some religions where it's seen as important that you have a complete treatment about how the universe is and where it came from. Some things are not seen as relevant or even suitable for spiritual teachers to deal with. One thing we learn more about Buddhism as we go along is that the Buddha tended to teach things only when the opportunity arose or when it was useful for a teaching to be given, or when a particular person requested a teaching. And this is why sometimes it's hard to give a definitive answer to some things from a Buddhist point of view, because the Buddha simply didn't bother talking about them. when we compare Buddhism to other versions of how the universe came into being, then sometimes we find that there are gaps. Okay? For example, if we look at the scientific version of how the universe came into being, then we have many theories in existence. You know some of them? About how the universe came about in the beginning? The big what? Big bang. And for a rational person, even the Big Bang is quite hard to accept. But the reason why we accept it is that when astronomers look at stars in the universe, they find that there's a Doppler shift. So just as a fire engine goes past us and we hear a change in the sound because it's, instead of coming towards us, it's now going away. When we see the colors of the stars, we find that in fact they're moving away from us. So this means that the universe is expanding. And when that is the case, then it means that in the beginning they must all have come from somewhere much closer together. So this has given rise to the idea of a Big Bang. Okay? But to go further than that and to explain how such a huge mass of all the things in the universe could be compacted down into something very, very dense and suddenly explode at a very high speed, then again, if you're not a religious person, it's hard to explain how that much energy can suddenly be emitted all at once in a trillionth of a second or whatever, which it took for something to happen to set all the universe in motion. It's hard to accept how that can happen. But this is the best theory which most scientists have at the moment. There are other versions, of course. There are theories about how there came to be life on Earth. How can life happen from a whole lot of inanimate matter? You know, it's a good question. And some scientists have gone as far as to say that there was comets passing by our planet and suddenly some sort of pollen or moss was left behind by the comet on the Earth, and this developed it somehow into people, you know. Then there's the idea of evolution, that all of our grandparents were monkeys. You know, there's these sort of, we call them theories, but they're nothing more than theories in many cases. But they've been spoken about for so many years that we sometimes think that they are proven facts. In fact, there are a lot of gaps even in scientific knowledge. And there's not only Big Bangs within the theories which scientists are using. There's also a theory that once the universe expands to the furthest extent, it's going to come back on itself. Instead of being a big bang, there's going to be a big crunch when all the universe suddenly comes back together in one big lump again. And then what? Does it happen again? Is there a cycle? You know, this is questions which science speculates on, but it cannot answer. And the fact that most religions have a hard and fast answer to how it happened, really it's a little bit dishonest, you know, to expect us to believe something is cut and dried when even scientists don't have the evidence to prove it. For Buddhism, there are also things pertaining to the beginning and the ending of existence. But as I said, there are gaps in it. And the Buddha didn't give these teachings to show how much knowledge he had. In fact, the teachings he gave on this subject were given for a completely different reason. And the reason was that in the olden days, the Hindus, who were the religion that was predominant before Buddhism came into existence in India, believed that all existence came about also because of a creator God. But instead of being called God, he was called Brahma. And the whole of the Hindu caste system is based on the fact that Hindus believe that different sectors of society were created from different parts of the original god. For example, the kings and the ruling caste all come from the head of God. The Brahmins or the priests are all supposed to come from the mouth of God. As for the merchant class, they are supposed to come from the body of God. And the working class, who have to work with their hands all their life, they came from the hands of God. So you got some sort of religious justification for injustice and inequality in society. But when Buddhism came about in India, the Buddha said that he didn't follow this caste system. He said that anyone who came to him to be a monk, whether they came from a rich family or a poor family, whether they were dark-skinned or light-skinned, even whether they were male or female, when they came to him and decided to shave off their hair and become a monk, he said that it was like different rivers of different colors flowed into the ocean. Once they reached the ocean, they all had the same taste, the same color, which is a salty taste, okay? And to take this metaphor further, it means that no matter what caste you come from, if you make the decision to become a monk in Buddhism, then from that point onwards, you overlook all the differences. But there happened to be two young monks who came from a Brahmin caste, and they still had this feeling that they were not entirely equal to the other monks because of their background. And because of this, the Buddha had to give a teaching about how it actually was in the beginning. Not that they come from the mouth of God or something like that, but how it actually was. So because this problem arose, then the Buddha was forced to give some explanation. And this is where our knowledge about Genesis in Buddhism actually comes from. And the picture we get of how things emerge in the universe is that Buddhism tends to follow a cyclical theory of how things are happening in the universe. There's cycles going on which take very, very long periods of time. And the cycle is between emergence and destruction. So sometimes matter becomes organized, it develops, it's able to support life. At other times there's destruction, and it goes in cycles. In fact, there are also scientific theories which have the same sort of understanding of how things are happening in the universe. And mathematically speaking, it is possible for time to go in loops even. This is some of the latest discoveries in science, that in fact time can go in loops. It doesn't contradict the laws of physics. So it can happen that science and Buddhism can agree on what's actually happening. The sorts of time scales which we're talking about are very long indeed. We talk about the end of the world coming. It's not like it's going to happen next week. But the sort of lengths of time which we talk about often in Buddhism are called aeons. Aeons are quite long. But the sort of lengths of time we're talking about, and to give you some idea about how long, if you imagine a mountain made of solid rock, which is 16 kilometers high, 16 kilometers wide, 16 kilometers deep, so like a 16 kilometer cube of rock. Imagine that was a mountain, and once every 100 years someone came along with a light cloth and rubbed it once. If you think about the length of time it would take to wear that mountain down flat with the ground, quite a long time, right? If you would imagine how long that would take, then this is the sort of length of time which we would call one aeon in Buddhism. Okay? And one aeon in Buddhism, we use the word kappa or kalpa for this unit of time. In fact, it is known as one world cycle. So the time it takes for the world to evolve, to support life, and then go through the cycle of destruction again would take this sort of length of time.
The Buddha taught us that anyone who keeps purely and strictly to his vocation as a Buddhist monk will receive many benefits. Most things in the world which you do have pros and cons, but if the ordained follow his vocation purely, ordaining as a monk only has benefits. See more of the monk's life in Buddhist culture. Next.
The Buddhist ordination, when a man becomes a monk, is required by Buddhist belief and represents the most important chapter in every man's life. A man should ordain after reaching the age of 20, before getting married or after graduating. The best time to ordain is the 3-month Buddhist Lent season, around August to October. But to comply with the needs of a modern world, a man can ordain for only 1 week, 15 days, or a month. This depends on how work and other considerations limit his time. But the person who ordains must leave the monastic order before the first day of Buddhist Lent. Otherwise, he must remain a monk until the end of the Lenten period. As a monk, he will learn the true needs of life, and he will learn how to take care of himself and stand with confidence. In particular, he will learn how to survive contentedly in his daily life with limited resources. And most importantly, he will learn the nature of existence and the impacts and interactions of good and bad actions. He will learn how to be a sanctified being and the patterns of trouble and happiness that typify people's lives. Yes, he will know how to earn happiness while journeying with kindness and understanding through the ebb and flow of existence. Buddhist beliefs are rooted in reality and wisdom. To be an endearing man of real leadership is to always understand the true nature of existence and to have one's mind in a safe refuge. Buddhism brings to light the mystery of man's great journey through life. Once in a lifetime, but forever with his breath, Buddhism has taught him to treasure his life and to make his life a treasure.
The benefits received by a monk come sequentially, starting with superficial benefits, which can immediately be seen, such as being honored by the general public, peacefulness of body, speech and mind, the wisdom to consider matters of the world in a more thorough way, real understanding of life and the world, allowing one to develop responsibility to oneself, others, and society at large, and spiritual attainment on the path of nirvana. Even if one is unable to attain nirvana in the present lifetime, one's effort to accumulate merit will not have been wasted, but will accrue as a foundation for progress in practice in future lifetimes in accordance with the Buddhist proverb. Drop by drop is a water pot filled. Likewise, the wise man gathering merit little by little fills himself with it. Next, let us accrue our meditation experiences with Reverend Somsak Piyasilo.
It is very nice that we meet again. This is session 7 of part 3. We have come this far, and I hope everyone, like you, have enjoyed meditation very much. Life is a journey since the first day of our birth, and we have to take a trip throughout the life until the last day of our breath. During the journey of our life, it is like traveling along the river of rise and fall. Life is up and down. And meditation is also a journey. It is the only thing that aging doesn't apply. The more we take the journey inside, inward, we get more and more happiness, where aging is not any matter at all. Now, let's take a trip to the turning point as we have learned before. And I hope you would like to meditate together with us right now. Are you ready? Take a good sitting position. Choose where you want to sit quietly with your own self. And then we gradually close the eyes. We can take a good deep breath in order to bring in all the freshness. And on the way out of the breath, we take away all the discomfort inside. We can repeat this process for a few more times. Deep in and way out. Feel the end of the in-breath that is below the lungs down to the middle of the abdomen. The far end of the in-breath is a turning point. That is the point where the in-breath turns out-breath. Feel it softly. Feel the existence of the turning point inside. We can call this the station of peace. This is a journey inward, together with the in-breath, and then the mind is standing still, right inside the abdomen, right at the turning point. Stay inside. Allow the mind to stay inside motionlessly. It will move less and less. And finally, it will be landing very softly at this station of peace. Allow the mind to be still softly. Being inside, the feeling is endless. We are the center of our own horizon, looking around 360 degrees all around. It is our body that is the center of the horizon. Enjoy the feeling, enjoy the being, the center of the horizon, 360 degrees. Once we feel this, the mind is even more still, right inside, very quietly. Visiting the turning point, allow the moon to shine in the mind. Thinking of the full moon, allowing the moon to pop up and shine in the middle of the body. The moon is shining bright in the mind. It is like we are showered, we are bathed by the silvery moon thoroughly. The moon is decorated by a little bright dot of the star right in the center. That bright dot of the star glitters right in the center of the shining moon. This dot is the connection of the inner journey. Before taking a journey inside, we get connected with the bright dot of that glittering tiny star. Enjoy the existence of the star in the center of the moon that is in the middle of the body. And the body is the center of our own horizon. Feel it, the being, the existence of the bright star in the middle. We use the feeling of being in the center. We don't use any force at all. Allow the mind enjoy the existence of the bright star. The feeling of expansion may arise. Expanding is the radiation of the brightness from the inside. It is the soft touch of being center upon center, the center upon the center. The previous center is expanding or radiating outwards, and we gain an access to another center. This is a center upon the center, deeper and deeper in. This is the start of the journey inside. It happens solely in meditation. The happiness and peacefulness that arise from meditation will enable us to survive in the life along the tide of rise and fall. We will be always young, no matter how long, how much time that has passed by. To keep young, to keep alive, to survive in the tide of rise and fall is easily achieved if we meditate every day. Then we always stay in the middle, enjoying the bright dot in the center of the centering moon, and stay with it for a little while. Enjoy this precious moment for a little while. So remember, every time we get exhausted by the journey outside, give ourselves a chance to come in. The journey inside is always our best friend, giving us peace and happiness deeper, deeper in, centering upon the center, upon the center. This is the way we start our journey inward. And remember to do meditation every day for the benefit of our own self. And once we are ready, gradually we can count down from 3 to 0 and slowly open up. Hope you enjoy your journey inside, and until we meet again next week, you should practice meditation and make your journey as often as possible until we meet again for the better enjoyment together. Have a good time in meditation. สวัสดี
In our studio, we still have Rose Mipan. She will tell us more about the Lady Dhammataya training course that she participated in and how she enjoyed it.
And so what was the best memory you had of this program?
Best memory? Well, they're all the program is a best memory, but I think was lunchtime. It was fun. It wasn't like it was fun. Like, we talk about different things and like funny things that happened during the day, like memories like random words, or we would go like tell ghost stories and how a car would just appear out of nowhere and it's like in the middle of the night, or how we got scared and like we switched rooms every like 5 days or something. Yeah, I think that was our best memories, like throughout the whole program. There's like no best memory, but the whole program was a good memory.
Did you make a lot of friends while you were there?
Yep, I made like pretty much all my friends now.
Oh, wow.
But like more. It's not like I didn't have friends before. It's just like we got to know each other more. Like, my best friends now I met through the program. And like we got to know each other. We got to know new people from like different states, different cities, San Diego.
So it wasn't just
No.
Southern California.
Yeah, it was like pretty much the area around there.
So this might be a pretty big question, but how do you think that this program has affected you in your life and as a person?
Well, like through the program, they gave great teachings, and like the teachings really affect us in life, like our mother's gratitude or responsibility or how to treat others. It's like all together. It's like it affects you like really good. Like you can tell that it affects each person, because like friends like just like I don't know, they pretty much like through the lecture they sort of cry. Like you can tell they're crying.
Out of happiness or
Like-
sadness or?
I don't know, like the teaching like really gets to them. Like the mother one, that really gets to everyone, because
Can you
like
explain what it is? Like being grateful to your mother or having gratitude to your mother?
they sort of like extended it. Like it's not like one certain one. It's like they have different mothers come in, and they talk about how much they love their child and how much they went through with their mother. So like pretty much you get to know like from both aspects.
Oh, I see.
And like we watch videos, music videos that have like about your mom and how grateful she is to be your mother. It's
Or
like
how grateful you are to your mother.
yeah, so pretty much both. And like how much she would like do for you, or how she would like pretty much die for you, like just for your happiness and stuff. And like that really gets to you, because like you sort of help your mother more and like think of her every few minutes.
More than before.
Yeah. That's yeah.
So do you feel that having gone through this program twice, do you feel that you've changed in any way? And what were some of the changes?
I'm not really sure about myself. Like, I don't know if I've changed much, but like, I don't know, because it's me. I don't know what others think about me. But like, I'm pretty sure like there's one thing that like I've gained confidence in saying like what I want or how I want things to be. And like I used to just hold it in. I'll be like, "Oh, okay, you can do that." Or
But you wanted to say something?
yeah, I want to say something, but like I think it's going to be rude to say it. But now like when I learned that if you don't say it, they can repeat like what they did that was wrong. And they can do more worse stuff like drugs or something. I don't know. Like hurting others' feelings. Like I'll hold it in back then, but then now like I sort of like let it out. I'll be like, "No, don't do this," or all those stuff. Like it affects me in school life too. Like how my friends like would just tease each other, like, and it really hurts the other person.
Oh, you mean in a bad way?
Yeah, like Yeah, like I would just go sit with the other person and be like, it's nothing, they're just playing with you or something. But like,
so you go and comfort them.
Yeah. And
be their
like
friend.
I would tell the person who hurts the other person's feeling that, you know, that wasn't nice or something. Like you could like destroy the friendship that we have here and everything, like, because it can change everything in an instant.
So it seems like you've become a good friend to both people through this.
Through temple and school and others, like family.
How has it affected you in your family?
It really didn't affect me with my family, but like, I mean, like, I got to know my cousins better, because like I used to like not like talk to them at all. Like I didn't talk to them. Like when I was a kid, I would play with them all the time, and then through like middle school and a little bit of elementary, I stopped talking to them. Never talked to them. Never said hi. None of that. And like the program like makes me think like, what if something happens to them soon in life and I'm not there to help them? It can like be a big effect on them. Like what if I could have changed a simple thing and it could have like made it better?
Right.
Yeah, like that sort of way for family.
Wow, so it seems like you've become a good leader in your family and just with your friends and
Yeah.
and everyone around you. It's nice. And so, in closing, would you do this program again?
Definitely. It was fun. It gave me lessons, but mostly fun. Yeah, it was great.
What would you recommend to other people? And would you recommend them go through the same program?
Definitely, because like the program like pretty much is, it's like, it gives you everything. You have great friends, you have great manners afterwards. It's not like you don't have great manners before, but like, I mean like
Even
better. Yeah, better manner. And you get to pretty much know how others feel, because like through one day we have like a paper with your name on it, and it goes through the whole everyone in the program, and they write what they think about you. And you get to know like all these great stuff, or like how
About yourself.
yeah, about yourself, or how they feel about you. And it's a great, you know, great thing to go through.
You learn more about yourself and other people. Oh, nice. So, do you have anything else you'd like to share with anybody?
No, not really.
All right. Well, today we've just talked with Rose, and she's shared her experience, and she showed herself to be a good leader in both school, home, temple, and with everyone around her. So I'd like to thank you, Rose, for coming and taking your time to share your experience with us.
Thank you for having me.
So thank you for joining us, and we hope you've enjoyed our program. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ
In closing, Vera Ring Trakul will take you on a tour of Wat Phra Thammakaya. Until next week, goodbye. สวัสดีค่ะ
Sawadee-ka. Hello and welcome. My name is Vera Rungtragul, and you're joining me on the tour of Wat Phra Thammakaya in Pathum Thani, Thailand. Last week, I took you to the clean kitchen of generosity of Kunyai Maharatana Ubasika Jan Konokyung. On today's episode, which I'd like to call the place of great giving, we're here next door at the building called Sala Dusit. This cool and shady place was the original dining hall for monks, and also the place where Long Pa and Kun Yai would teach Dhamma to the public. Also, it was used as a small reception area where the abbot, vice abbot, elder monks, and kunyai would receive guests, because kunyai saw the need for a place where visitors could talk to monks, and in keeping with her strict rule that monks mustn't receive guests in their own residence. Longpa Tamachayo, the abbot of Wat Phra Thamakai, had once envisioned that after Jatu Maharachika was built, more and more people would come to the temple until they overflowed the building, and that eventually all roads would meet at Wat Phra Thamakai, signifying that more and more people would come to find the happiness of the Dharma of the Lord Buddha here at this temple. Sure enough, within 10 years, the number of meditators who came to the temple reached tens of thousands, and the original temple grounds of approximately 80 acres were not enough to accommodate all. Therefore, the temple grounds expanded by 1,000 acres through the Dhammakaya Foundation, and this allowed for the creation of a bigger building to serve a bigger congregation. In April of 1985, construction started on the thatched Dhammakaya Hall, known commonly as the Sapachak, and whose complete design and construction took only 50 days total. Totaling about 14,000 square meters and accommodating up to 12,000 people, the thatched Dhammakaya Hall was constructed as a temporary building that could be moved and relocated without damage to the structure, due to the fact that the ceiling was made from a metal framework that could be taken apart, and the fact that the floor was made from cement blocks that could be removed. Also, the thatched roof saved money and allowed air to flow inside, thus preventing the need for air conditioning. This building replaced the Jatu Maharachika building as the center for important Buddhist ceremonies and as the all-purpose building where Dharma was taught every Sunday and where group training sessions teaching Dharma for everyday life were held. This building, considered huge for its day, was used from the years 1985 to 1996 until the place seemed too small to accommodate for the tens of thousands who came over the course of those years. Thus, this necessitated the creation of a larger building, the Great Dhammakaya Hall, that is now used as an assembly place for hundreds of thousands coming to this temple. But we'll cover that later on. As for now, we'll be going to see the Kunyai Ajahn Dining Hall, so follow me there. Kunyai had a grand vision and wish to build a dining area and kitchen where monks would not have to worry about food and going on alms rounds, and so that they can devote their time to the study of the Dharma and on meditation. As a result, the Kunyai Ajahn Dining Hall was born. This grand dining hall is now the place where alms are offered and can accommodate up to 6,000 monks and novices who sit on elevated wooden platforms inside. Attached to this hall is the food preparation and assembly room, where thousands of meals are prepared and arranged to be offered to the resident monks and novices. This place is also where the lay people receive the monks' blessings daily. Giving is the heart of Buddhism. Kunyai wanted everyone to have a better tomorrow through the giving of today. Those who give with pure hearts to the ones who purify their minds, speech, and actions will soon receive the highest benefits from their contributions. The door of opportunity is now open to you. Until next time, สวัสดีค่ะ